So in this video, I wanted to talk about 3 fragrances that I recently purchased from 2 brands that I've never heard of before and discovered over the weekend in my travels to Sephora and in Ulta. One of them is totally new, released by a celebrity of all people, a fashion model, and the other 2 are by a brand that I think is mostly known for their candles. So these are brand new fragrances from brand new places, and coincidentally they are all clean, sustainably sourced fragrances, cruelty free, no parabens, sulfates, no alcohol. And there are 3 fragrances that I just happened to fall in love with. Didn't expect to purchase them, and I purchased them all in travel sizes. You know how I roll. But they're fragrances that I also really love, and I love the mission behind them. I love that they were purposely designed to be mood enhancing, mood boosting fragrances. So the first fragrance that I'm going to talk about is the first in this series of 3 fragrances that I smelled for the first time. And I might as well just go ahead and tell you that these fragrances are from Orabella. Orabella was created by the fashion model and activist Bella Hadid, and she released 3 different fragrances, all with essential oils in them. So the 3 fragrances are Window to Soul, Salted Muse, I think is the second one, and the one that I fell for like immediately is called Blooming Fire. So just a little bit about these fragrances before I go on to show you the packaging. So they're created with essential oils like camellia, jojoba, shea, I think almond oil. So this actually has the dual purpose of being a fragrance that is mood enhancing, but also something that you put on the skin and rub into the skin. So it's like lightly hydrating as well. I've never purchased a fragrance like this, though I think I might have heard of some. This is the first that I've ever purchased. And Blooming Fire is, to me, out of the 3 of these fragrances, the most sort of summery, tropical, beachy, very like Hawaiian paradise island kind of fragrance. So this is the travel size for Blooming Fire. And originally, like before shaken up, you can see the oil sitting at the top. Right now it's been in my bag, so it's already kind of like shaken up, but I'll shake it up some more before I spray it on again. But this is what it looks like. It kind of gives me sort of like you know, elixir for eternal youth from Death Becomes Her, like the bottle packaging, which I like. I don't hate at all. The larger bottle design, though, is a little problematic for me. Like, I get where she was going. It's very sort of like elemental. It looks like a rough, sort of like a rock kind of thing. And in the promos, they look nice, but in person, in the Ulta display, I don't know. In fact, the reason why I even smelled these fragrances was because I just was 100% convinced that I wasn't gonna like them. So I figured I had nothing to lose when I walked over to the display case in Ulta. They kind of made me think of like the whole mission behind it, the concept behind it reminded me of the fragrances that Charlotte Tilbury has released. You know, those weird magic genie in a bottle looking packaging. I'm sorry, but that packaging is just not good. And then to make things worse, at least in my opinion, the fragrances are awful. So when I approached the display for the Orabella fragrances, I thought it was going to be something like that. I was so wrong. I was captivated by Blooming Fire on first sniff. I was just like, whoa, wait a second. This is so beautiful. So the notes of Blooming Fire by Orabella are bergamot, cedarwood, clove, and cardamom at the top. The mid is Tahitian manoi and jasmine, and the base is patchouli. So the essential oils in this are the cedarwood, clove and cardamom, I believe. And then Bella Hadid has what is called an Orelixir base, which is something that she designed specifically. It has snow mushroom, camellia, sweet almond oil, olive oil, jojoba oil, and shea oil. So I'm actually going to spray this on my skin so you can see how it sort of like rests on the skin before I rub it in. It's very light and hydrating and really nice. I'm gonna try not to spray it on my dress. Here we go. Yeah, so you can, yeah, there you go. There it is. Ooh, oh my God. Oh my goodness, it smells so amazing. So yeah, it's meant to be hydrating for the skin and just really calming and soothing. And so the bergamot is what I get off the top first. That bright, strong, pungent, citrusy bergamot. And then it goes into the Tahitian Manoi and jasmine. And I swear to God, like you just want to close your eyes the minute it hits your nose. At least for me, it's so relaxing. I wish I was better at describing sort of the notes and fragrances, but with this one, I want to say that it is a warm, tropical fragrance. The projection is there. It lasts for hours. It lasts even longer on clothes and hair. I think that this is gonna be, if it's not one of the hit fragrances of the summer, it's gonna be slept on. That's how good I feel like this is. I didn't even shake this up. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit more. So this is pretty much the milkiest it gets when shaken up. Yeah, if you like orange flower, because the orange flower in this is strong, jasmine, oh, the cardamom, cedarwood, and clove. I was really excited for those. These really give it the warmth and depth. And then of course the patchouli and the base, which apparently I don't mind because I just think that this is a perfectly blended fragrance. Again, particularly for the summer, for the warm temperature, like this is just gonna be so good. I just feel like this is gonna have longevity, projection. If you're going out to get compliments, this is the one that you're gonna want to put on because it's definitely going to travel. And this is 10 mils. It's $35 for the travel size. Jury's out on whether or not I will get a larger bottle, despite how I feel about the design of the larger bottle. Though this fragrance is amazing and perfect for the summer. So the other two fragrances that I discovered in Sephora are from a brand called Nette, which is spelled Nette. And I believe that they're most well known for their candles. But I saw these fragrances at a Sephora that is local to me, and they're in these oblong, sort of rectangular bottles that I've never seen before. And I was just like, ooh, what's this? Let me smell this. And the first fragrance that I smelled by them is called Pear Jam, which is a really interesting, sweet, very jammy fragrance, which is really nice, but I wasn't really in the mood for that one. Like it wasn't the one that like caught my attention. The one next to that was called The Vanille. And as a vanille lover, I was just like, oh, let's try this. And I was expecting something gourmand and warm and sweet. No. This vanille fragrance gives me more of an earthy, very dry note vibe, but also salty. There is warmth to it, but not sweet or heaviness. It's more airy, aromatic, little powdery, but very just slightly aquatic. So I've also started using these already, so there's quite a dent in them. I actually read reviews on Sephora, which may be the only con that I have about these fragrances, that the bottles showed up not full up to the top. So So this is what the boxes look like, and you can see what the bottle looks like on the front there. So nothing fancy, no frills. So this is what it looks like. I already have quite a dent in it, but when I got it, it was already like right down here, which is not great. Hopefully they rectify that, because I do feel like I might want full bottles of these. So the keynotes for the Vanille are vanilla, CO2, green tea, and salt accord, but the notes broken down for top, middle, and base are top, salt accord, cardamom LMR, turmeric root LMR, and mate extract. The mid is Narcissus Absolute French LMR, Magnolia Flower LMR, and the base is Orris LMR and Vanilla CO2 LMR. Now you're probably wondering, if you're like me, what the heck is LMR? Cha. Let me tell you. All right, so I did a little Google search, and LMR stands for Laboratoire Monique Remy, a company that supplies natural ingredients for perfumery, flavors, cosmetics, and aromatherapy. So LMR was founded in Grasse, France in 1983 and is known for its high quality, pure and natural extracts. The company works with local producers around the world and is committed to transparency, environmental management, and sustainable development. LMR has also been working to develop a method to calculate the carbon footprint of natural fragrances and their ingredients. So it's basically a perfumery that is trying to reduce the carbon emissions and the carbon impact of fragrances. Again, these are all clean, sustainably sourced fragrances. I think that this is really, really fascinating. I've never heard about this before. The company LMR was taken over in 2000 by International Flavors and Fragrances, or IFF, and they continue to work with the company to continue the mission. So LMR, wherever you see that in the notes of these Nette fragrances, stand for Laboratoire Monique Remy. It feels kind of like proprietary, but I'm not quite sure about that. I don't want to throw out words that I don't know anything about. I know that there are some notes in other fragrances that are not clean fragrances that are made specifically by a certain perfumer, and these sort of seem a little bit proprietary to me in the way that they're sourced and created for sustainability. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Let's get to the fragrance. I've never had a vanilla fragrance that mixes these kinds of notes with vanilla, with turmeric root, with mate extract and green tea. Like, it's just very different. And the salt accord is something that I've also never really thought about how I felt about in fragrance. I really, really like it in this. So I'm just gonna spray this on a cotton round. Oh my God. I can smell it already. Oh my God, it's so good. It reminds me a little bit in the opening of Woodphoria by Boy Smells, because it has, for me, like the first impression has sort of like a woody earthiness. But I think what that is the salt accord. There's no actual like sandalwood or woodiness in this fragrance. Maybe it's the orris. I don't know too much about orris, but I think that might be what I'm getting as well from the earthy that I'm picking up. And then, oh, this is just so good. It's just so freaking good. I don't really know if I can say that the longevity of this is very long. Definitely about 2 to 3 hours, but it's an evolving fragrance that is very dry, which I love. I love dry notes. I love a good dry note fragrance. When it dries all the way down, that's when you get the vanilla finally, but it is never this sugary sweet or syrupy sweet or gourmand heavy sweet vanilla. It's always, it just stays dry to the end. There's a sweetness to it, but mainly, like I said, it's airy, it's and salty and beachy in that way, not in the Tahitian Manoi blooming fire way. And it's just so nice. It's fresh. It's a kind of fragrance that you want to put on after you get out of the shower, in the morning, or at night before you go to bed. It is definitely in the fresh, sort of clean category, in my opinion. And it's just beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Very fresh, very like uplifting and light. So I just was like amazed when I smelled this, and it was so far left from what I expected, but in the most wonderful way. And these are also 10 mils of fragrance. These are $30, so $5 less than the Orabella fragrances. And absolutely love it. Okay, so the next fragrance, also by Nette, is Coco Fleur. I smelled this right after the Vanille, and I was just like, wow, okay, another one that is absolutely amazing. Like, what? So Coco Flower has keynotes of orange flower, coconut milk, and sandalwood. The top is bergamot oil, pink pepper, CO2 LMR, and absolute Tunisia LMR. The mid is Ylang Madagascar organic LMR, orange flower, and Tunisia LMR. And the base is Ambrette, absolute LMR, coconut milk, sandalwood, New Caledonia LMR. So you can already see that there is a bergamot in all these fragrances. There's some cardamom. This one has coconut milk in it. I don't know if the other ones had, but there's a lot of similar fragrance notes in all three of these fragrances that lend to that wonderful, creamy, coconutty, just sort of like beachy, summery vibe. So they're just all perfect, in my opinion, for the summer, which we're basically in. I know it's June, but it doesn't feel like we're gonna have much of a spring, at least not over here in NYC. So I'm gonna spray this as well in a cotton round. You can see that the dent on this is pretty far down as well. So this one is just a little bit more used up than the Vanille. I feel like these are gonna run out pretty quickly for me. So I already have to plan my bigger bottles. These are $120 for 50 mLs, which is not so bad. But I mean, they're so good. So I just feel like it's gonna be worth the purchase. So this one on paper to me is different than on my skin. It takes a little bit of time for it to open up. It's lighter, it's more powdery than the Vanille. So I'm gonna spray it on my skin as well. And this is also another fragrance that I think is great for putting on right out of the shower, maybe after you put on some moisturizer instead of putting on like a body spray. Oh, yeah, this also very unique, very different. I don't feel like these two, Coco Fleur and Vanille, are safe blind buys. You definitely want to go into Sephora and test these out wherever they're available before you make a purchase based on my description or anybody's description. All I can tell you is that this fragrance, Coco Fleur, took me on an emotional journey when I first smelled it. I was just like, oh my God. Like I was standing in Sephora for like a minute, just standing there smelling this, like, wow. It's, for me, it just connects to something familiar and really pleasant. Just, I don't know. I think that there's copy written for both of these about what they're supposed to evoke. And I feel like this one might have had something to do with like the evening or like adventure or something like that. I feel like these are fragrances that you can wear any time of the day, but specifically for the summer, all three of these, Blooming Fire, the Vanille, and Coco Fleur, wonderfully layer together. It's just like they were made to be layered together. I'm sure that Salted Muse and Window to Soul were meant to be layered together with Blooming Fire. It just so happens for me that Blooming Fire was my only favorite of those three Orabella fragrances, and I just feel like they go really well with these two from Nette. So I think that they play really well together, again, because they have similar fragrance notes. There's got to be at least 2 cardamom, so much bergamot, like they just go really well together. So I would recommend it. So of the 3 of these fragrances, Blooming Fire is definitely giving more on projection. These 2 from Nette are definitely more dry, airy, fresh, clean kind of fragrances. I'm not saying this isn't a great fragrance if you want to put this on after the shower, but this is more of like the main star kind of fragrance. Whereas these 2 more airy, really good base fragrances, but also good on their own, but just more lighter. These are for like, you want to fall back and just kind of have like a nice scent bubble. This is the one that's going to get all the attention. So I love all 3 of them. And let me know in the comment section down below if you've ever heard of Nette or Orabella. Orabella just came out, so nobody's gonna have known about Orabella. But I mean, if you've even heard about Orabella and the concepts behind her 3 fragrances, or this new scent house, Nette, I'm pretty sure that these are new. I've never heard of them before, never seen them before. That is basically it though for this video. I really love discovering new fragrances that I love completely out of nowhere, totally unexpected, did not expect to be purchasing any new fragrances, but here we are. Travel size though they may be, they are a wonderful part of my collection. I'm so glad to have them. I hope that you enjoyed this video. As always, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. Don't forget to click on the thumbs up button down below if you liked my video. I hope that you did. Also, remember to follow me on TikTok if you enjoy TikTok. I will put my link to my TikTok down in the description box below. As always, I am also on Instagram, and I hope to see you in my next video soon. Bye.